Hello students, welcome to another session of environmental issues. In this session, you will learn about the degradation of natural resources by improper resource utilization and management and deforestation. The degradation of natural resources can occur not just by the action of pollutants but also by improper resource utilization practices. First and the foremost one is soil erosion and desertification. The development of fertile topsoil takes centuries, but it can be removed very easily due to human activities like overcultivation, unrestricted grazing, deforestation, and poor irrigation practices, resulting in arid patches of land. When large barren patches extend and meet over time, a desert is created. Internationally, it has been recognized that desertification is a major problem nowadays, particularly due to increased urbanization. Irrigation without proper drainage of water leads to waterlogging in the soil. Besides affecting the crops, waterlogging draws salt to the surface of the soil. The salt is then deposited as a thin crust on the land surface or starts collecting at the roots of the plants. This increased salt content is unfavorable for the growth of crops and is extremely damaging to agriculture. Waterlogging and soil salinity are some of the problems that have come in the wake of the Green Revolution. Deforestation is another threat for environment. It is the conversion of forested area to non-forested ones. According to an estimate, almost 40% forests have been lost in the tropics compared to only 1% in the temperate region. The present scenario of deforestation is particularly grim in India. At the beginning of the 20th century, forests covered about 30% of the land of India. By the end of the century, it shrunk to 19.4%, whereas the National Forest Policy of India has recommended 33% forest cover for the plains and 67% for the hills. A number of human activities contribute to the deforestation. One of the major reasons is the conversion of forests to agricultural land so as to feed the growing population. Trees are axed for timber, firewood, cattle ranching, and for several other purposes. Slash and burn agriculture, commonly known as shum cultivation in northeastern states of India, has also contributed to deforestation. In slash and burn agriculture, the farmers cut down the trees of the forest and burn the plant remains. The ash is used as a fertilizer and the land is then used for farming or cattle grazing. After cultivation, the area is left for several years so as to allow its recovery. The farmers then move on to another area and repeat this process. In earlier days, when jhum cultivation was in prevalence, enough time gap was given such that the land recovered from the effect of cultivation. With the increasing population and repeated cultivation, this recovery phase is done away with, resulting in deforestation. You all are very well aware of consequences of deforestation. Let's have a recap of that. One of the major effects is the enhanced carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere because trees that could hold a lot of carbon in their biomass are lost with deforestation. Deforestation also causes loss of biodiversity due to habitat destruction, disturbs hydrological cycle, causes soil erosion, and may lead to desertification in extreme cases. Let's look into reforestation. It's a process of restoring a forest that once existed but was removed at some point of time in the past. Reforestation may occur naturally in a deforested area. However, we can speed it up by planting trees with due consideration to biodiversity that earlier existed in that area. Let's look into people's participation in conservation of forests. People's participation has a long history in India. In 1731, the king of Jodhpur in Rajasthan asked one of his ministers to arrange wood for constructing a new palace. The minister and workers went to a forest near a village inhabited by Bishnois to cut down trees. The Bishnoi community is known for its peaceful coexistence with nature. The effort to cut down trees by the kings was started by Bishnois. A Bishnoi woman, Amrita Devi, showed exemplary courage by hugging a tree and daring kingsmen to cut her first before cutting the tree. The tree mattered much to her than her own life. Sadly, the king's men did not heed to her plea and cut down the tree along with Amrita Devi. Her three daughters and hundreds of other Bishnois followed her and thus lost their lives saving trees. Nowhere in history do we find a commitment of this magnitude when human beings sacrificed their lives for the cause of the environment. The Government of India has recently instituted the Amrita Devi Bishnoi Wildlife Protection Award for individuals or communities from rural areas that have shown extraordinary courage and dedication in protecting wildlife. Let's have a look into Chipko movement of Garhwal Himalayas. The Chipko Andolan was the result of a grassroots level effort to end the alienation of the people from their forest. The movement originated from an incident in a remote village called Reni in Garhwal in 1974. There was a dispute between local villagers and a logging contractor who had been allowed to fell trees in a forest close to the village. On a particular day, the contractor's workers appeared in the forest to cut the trees while the men folk were absent. Undeterred, the women of village reached the forest quickly and hugged the tree trunks, thus preventing the workers from felling trees. This made the contractors to withdraw from the forest. The Chipko movement quickly spread across the community and media and forced the government to whom the forest belongs to rethink their priorities in the use of forest produce. Experience has taught people that destruction of forest affected not just the availability of forest products but also the quality of soil and source of water. Participation of the local people can indeed lead to the efficient management of forests. Realizing the significance of participation by local communities, the Government of India in 1980s has introduced the concept of joint forest management so as to work closely with the local communities for protecting and managing forests. In return for their services to the forest, the communities get benefit of various forest products and thus the forest can be conserved in a sustainable manner. Dear students, in this chapter you have learned about various environmental issues and solutions to them. Let's all work towards the protection of our environment and conserve our nature. With this, we come to the end of this chapter. Thank you for listening.